All right, so today we are going to do a little Q&A. Still thriving. Haven't touched him. Don't know what's happening. I thought it'd be a good time to do this because A, I haven't done one of these in at least, I feel like 3 or 4 months. Probably more than that. I don't know what time is right now. But also I just have some updates for you guys and we're just going to talk about it. So let's just get into it. If you're excited and you enjoy while you're watching, you can give this a thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I have a Shadow and Schmooze series where I talk about a lot of topics and then also other Q&A videos, so I'll link some of those down below, the recent ones. Okay, let's talk about feelings. Talk about your piercings, please. Where do you get them, etc.? Thank you. Okay, so I get this question a lot about where I go in Seattle to get pierced, but also where I get all of my jewelry. My ears are usually red, so ignore that. My jewelry I usually get off of Etsy. That's where I get the majority of my earrings, except like the ones in the front. These are the ones that I really switch out. This one, because I sleep on this side a lot, gets like easily infected, so still working on getting him good to go. But unless it's like that one where I got it from the piercer, most of them are from Etsy. And then the place I go to is Laughing Buddha in Capitol Hill. They're the best. I've gone to a place in Bellevue that I didn't love as much. Laughing Buddha is just like very professional, very clean. I go to Lil Jon, that's his name. They have a lot of BVLA jewelry, which I love. Like this one is BVLA. How does it feel living far away from your parents? I actually got this question a few times this time around. I don't know why, maybe just with everything going on. But if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would have had a totally different answer than I do now. I have always been pretty independent as far as where I'm living and living abroad and just kind of doing my own thing, what I want to be doing. But I am my parents' only child and my parents are getting older. And just in the last few years, it's really been something I've been thinking about more. Just that I wish they were closer and I wish that I could just like call my mom up or my dad up and go get coffee and just like hang out with them more rather than it being like a big trip. I try and see my parents normally like usually every few months because I can. Like if I have a flexible work schedule and I work for myself, I might as well. I saw this chart one time that showed like the amount of days that you have with your parents as they get older. I'm going to try and find it. I don't know if it was on like a random article like 10 years ago, but it's always stuck with me. And it just basically showed that as your parents age and you move out, the time that you have left with them, like the days obviously significantly goes like this and gets less and less. I just always think about that chart because at the end of the day, family and the people you love are the most important thing, at least for me. Living away from them in that aspect is hard, but I do try and see them frequently. I have zero desire to live in California or San Diego, so that's never gonna happen, but my parents have talked about potentially moving to wherever I'm living at the time when I have children, just to be closer, so we will see. Do you see yourself staying in Washington long term? This kind of goes hand in hand, so I'm just going to talk about both of these together, but some people asked, any plans on moving in with your boyfriend? Are you guys going to move together? Are you going to live abroad? So all of this kind of goes together. I was actually planning on moving very soon, like before COVID-19 happened. I was actually planning on moving to New York City. Basically, we both want to leave Seattle. He's actually been in Seattle a lot shorter than I have, so he's not quite ready to move yet, but we both want to live abroad and we have some ideas. I'm not going to say where yet, but we do have some ideas on where we would want to move. My eyelash feels like it's popping off. I am pretty ready to move just because I've been in Seattle for 5 years now, and actually before I bought this place, I was planning on moving to either Chicago or abroad, and then I bought this place, we met, and then I've been here for 2 years more now. It's not that I don't love Seattle. I absolutely love Seattle. I love my life here. I love like day to day. I love everything about Seattle. I could easily just stay in Washington, but I've always just felt like the urge to just try living in different places and just experience something new. And there's so many amazing places on earth. There's lots of different factors to all of this, but basically within the next 3 to 5 years, we both, my boyfriend and I, see ourselves living together abroad. Before then, I definitely need to get out of Seattle. Like I have an itch. I'm just ready, like I said, to live in New York City. I had that idea in my head and I can't get it out. And it's just something that I just want to do. I think it'd be such an interesting experience. Whenever I feel that it's safe to do that, I'm just gonna keep my place here. I own this place, so I'm gonna eventually rent it out. But while I do this New York thing, I'm gonna keep my place here, get a short-term rental in Manhattan or in Brooklyn. If you guys remember, a few months ago, my boyfriend and I went to New York, and that was kind of to scope out the different neighborhoods and stuff. So I'm gonna find a short-term rental and just stay in New York for about 4 months while I still have this place and just kind of go back and forth, see how it is, because my boyfriend's gonna stay here because of his job, but he's gonna come stay with me for like a couple weeks at a time and kind of bounce back and forth, which is honestly ideal for both of us. We're both pretty independent and also like our own space and time. So I'm totally fine with that. He's totally fine with that. Some people I know that would be really difficult for, but that's just how we work and we are. And I have a couple really good friends that live in New York City right now. So I'm really excited. Like, I'm excited for a change. It's going to be entirely different than Seattle. And obviously I'll be documenting that process and just living in New York and whatever. I absolutely loved Brooklyn. Like, if I was living there for a longer period of time, I think I would live in Brooklyn. Since I'm only planning on being there for a few months, I think it makes more sense to stay in Manhattan. So if you guys live in Manhattan, let me know the best boroughs, like learning all the New York slang. I've been watching so many New York videos, doing so much research, but let me know the best kind of neighborhoods that you would recommend. I wasn't really planning on talking about this until it was like I'm on a plane going, but with everything is just very up in the air. So it is happening as soon as I feel like it's safe to. It also really depends on where I'm at with something with health stuff. So it's all kind of up in the air. I like having a general idea of the future, but I'm also very like, I just want to do it and see how it goes. And then things always change. Like, I never thought I was going to be in Seattle for I don't even know how long it's been now, 6 years, 5 years. And here we are. So I thought I was literally going to be here for maybe 2 years. I plan out every single basically hour of every day as far as what I can get done. But then long term, and like when you think in terms of years and stuff, I'd way rather just kind of go with the flow, see what happens, and see what I'm feeling. How long have you and your boyfriend been together now? You look so happy and always beautiful. Thank you. We have been together for 2 years now. Oh, this is an interesting question. Do you have a cleaning schedule? No. I really like cleaning. It's weird. Certain cleaning. I hate folding laundry, but like as far as cleaning the house, I like cleaning the house. I love steaming floors. I love cleaning the kitchen, like counter, like I love cleaning surfaces. No, I don't have a cleaning schedule. It's kind of just whenever I feel like it needs to be cleaned, which is usually every few days, because my hair, have you seen this thing? It's very long, very black, and it falls out all over the place every 2 seconds. I'm vacuuming probably honestly every day. I feel like I vacuum. But as far as like deep cleaning, I definitely deep clean like once a week, and then I clean in between then like every few days. Wow, I probably spend a lot of time cleaning. I've never actually thought about that. Can you go more in depth about how you set up sponsorships? I'm just going to talk from me personally at this point, because if you're just starting out, it's a little bit different than what I'm going to talk about now. But for me at this point now, for about the last maybe 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I work with an agent who I love. She's the best. I don't have management. I prefer to do that side of things on my own because I do really enjoy the business side of YouTube. I like responding to emails. I like knowing what's going on. And I feel like if I give that up, I just lose touch of, I don't know, it's a weird thing. I almost feel like out of touch. I like having control over a lot of stuff, but I also really enjoy that stuff. So that's why I don't have management, but I do have an agent. And there's a difference between an agent and management. An agent basically only works on brand deals, not only, but the main thing is brand deals. So something comes into my inbox, I forward it to her. She then gets on the phone with the brand, negotiates the price, everything, does the contract, does all the legal stuff. And then once it's ready for signature, she sends it back to me to sign. If it's obviously there's a whole process that goes into if I'm even accepting a sponsorship, and literally 95% of stuff that comes through my inbox I turn down because I don't like the product, I don't like the brand, I don't think it's something that you guys will be interested in. I test something and it just doesn't work out. Like yesterday I was testing a hair removal product for an Instagram sponsorship that it just didn't work at all. So if I don't like it, there's no way I'm gonna recommend it to you guys. That's just how I work with sponsorships, and I never accept a sponsorship without fully testing the product. There's no way I would ever do that because I just want to be confident that what I'm recommending to you is actually good. I wouldn't tell my mom to go buy something that I don't like, so why would I tell you guys to go do that? I would never be able to sleep at night if I did that. But before I had an agent, I was doing all of that myself. So that takes up a huge chunk of time, and since having her helping me with that, it's been so nice because it frees up a lot of time by not having to do your own contracts and not having to negotiate and not having to do all this kind of behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't see that goes into a sponsorship. But if you're newer to sponsorships, you can also go on different platforms. There's FameBit, Revfluence, or Aspire IQ they are now, Grapevine Logic. Like there's different platforms that you can go on and directly apply to sponsorships that you might be interested in. I got a few questions about the home buying process and homeownership. This one says, what surprised you about that? Oh, I feel like there was a bad accident or something, because here's another air flight helicopter. Okay, what surprised me? I guess something that surprised me was how fast the process is. Depending on the city, it's totally different depending on what state you're in. Seattle, when I bought, the real estate market was insane. There's basically like a whole bidding war thing, and so you just have to have everything ready to go even before you put an offer on it, and it all moves very fast. If I'm remembering correctly, I think I had a 7-day escrow. And sometimes I get questions like, why did you buy if you were planning on moving? And my answer to that is real estate is an investment, and as soon as I move out of here, I'm going to be renting out my place right now. Just plan on holding on to it for as long as I can and having rental income coming in that way. How has COVID impacted your relationship, brought you closer, tested you? There were also a few of these questions. So I feel like we kind of got I don't want to say lucky, but we had a weird thing happen earlier in the year, or was that last year? Yeah. Where my boyfriend got in a wakeboarding accident and had surgery and was basically like immobile for 4 months. And so he moved into my place and we lived together for 4 months, where it wasn't just like we were living together in a fairly small space, but especially at the beginning, because he couldn't really move or do anything, I was basically like his caregiver, which honestly for me was really nice to be able to do that, because I'm gonna get emotional. He does so much for me and dealing with my stuff every day. So it was kind of nice to like have the roles reversed and just be able to help him in that way. But because of that, it was kind of a good test for not only living together, but also like living together under intense circumstances. So in a weird way, I feel like that kind of prepared us for now. But also we're not fully living together right now. We're literally just bouncing between each other's houses, going nowhere, like getting groceries delivered, literally going nowhere besides his house and doctor's appointments that I have to go to. Any fun facts about you that might surprise your viewers? I had this really, really weird, very odd headband phase, which I think was when I was like 14. I think what happened, if I'm recalling correctly, is I think I got terrible highlights and I hated the way they look, and they were like that kind that were like really chunky on the top, but my parents wouldn't let me dye my hair. They would let me get highlights, but they wouldn't let me dye my hair. My mom also only let me wear white and blue eyeshadow. Interesting beauty choices, I will say. But because they wouldn't let me dye my hair to cover up the highlights, I would wear a thick ass headband. Like I'm talking the thick ones, like the stretchy thick ones, but I wouldn't put it on my head like a headband. I would put it right here across my forehead so that it would cover up that ugly part of the highlights. I'm not kidding. I think I had about 30 headbands and I would wear them every living second of the day. I think that went on for at least a year. I think what ended it is on my birthday, as a joke, my parents cut all of my headbands and put them in a bag and tied a bow on it. Happy birthday to me. Okay, let's talk about the stuff that the majority of you asked about. So lots of questions about how are you doing health-wise? How are you feeling post-surgery? Any improvement? How have you handled your migraines in quarantine? How has Corona affected the plans with the Mayo Clinic and everything? This topic was definitely my most asked question. There are certain things with that really impact my channel, and certain things happening with 15 Days of Foundation, which we'll touch on. And there's a lot. This is going to be a big update. Check out my last 2 update videos if you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give a very brief, like bullet pointed or tried to version of all this. Basically, I got the sinus surgery. There was questions about if that had any effect, if that's helping at all. It hasn't done a whole lot. For some people, it's amazing. For me personally, I would give the results like a 1 out of 10. Would I redo it? I probably would have to, because I was getting so many infections. So I had a big discovery with a new doctor, a new spine specialist doctor, that I have a full tear in 2 of my joints. Those are the only 2 we know about so far. I need to do contrast MRI on the back of my neck, because he thinks that if I have a full tear on my C3 and C4, I likely have tears and other things going on in other parts of my neck. I can't tell you the amount of relief I had when he told me that, because I was in the middle of getting a nerve block injection from him, And basically the steroid went straight through on the x-ray. I have a photo of it. That's how we found that out. And I had a snowboarding accident, which he was like, it's 100% from the snowboarding accident. I landed like directly on my head. I was wearing a helmet. This was in college. Basically, he was saying if you had that level of pain that's caused by a tear in two joints, normally you would get surgery right away. I went on living for 8 years since that happened. Just to reiterate, I didn't realize that I already was experiencing chronic migraines at that point, so I didn't realize the severity, I guess, of the neck pain, and also I had a major concussion from the accident, so I guess I just didn't really realize the damage that was caused to my neck until a few years later, where I was like, okay, this does not feel normal. But in the last 8 years, don't ask me how I had MRIs done to the front of my neck, my head, but never the back of my neck, so... And just thought I had extreme neck pain, so... Most of my migraines, I've talked about this, are caused by my neck, and I've always known something's wrong with my neck. No doctor has ever been able to figure that out. I don't know how, because if you just did an MRI on the back, we would have seen that. But basically, this is a big piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. He thinks there are definitely other things going on. I have still those weird heart things that are whatever. Long story short, this is an amazing discovery because it's something that is huge, and that I'm meeting with him again soon to figure out next steps and what we can do to start repairing this. And I'm also going to get a second opinion. So that was very exciting news to just know something. And then as far as how that relates to Mayo, and there's a lot of questions if Corona has pushed back the Mayo Clinic, which I was planning on going to in June. And yeah, that has been pushed back. It was pushed back because of Corona, but then now that they found this out, I had two of my doctors tell me that they think I should really full on go down this route of trying to fix the joint tear before I go to the Mayo Clinic, just so we can kind of isolate things that are working and then other things going on, because like I said, they still think there's some other things that probably aren't tied to the joint stuff, but I mean, ideally we fix the joint and my chronic pain goes way down. That would be best case scenario. So yeah, for now, Mayo Clinic is pushed back until we're able to figure out some kind of plan. So we found out that recently, in the last couple weeks, that was when I got my second nerve block injection, which I still can't tell if it's doing anything. The first time I got it, it did nothing for 2 weeks, and then at the 2-week point is when it kicked in for a couple weeks, and I did feel a difference in my neck. We'll see if this round does anything. He put it in a different place this time too. But then, if you guys remember in one of my last update videos, I was supposed to have surgery that got canceled because of coronavirus. So they have rescheduled it to June 30th. So as of right now, that is happening. I am trying my best right now to, any time I can film, I'm trying to film 2 to 3 videos. Today, this is my second video I'm filming, just so I can get as much pre-filmed as possible, because I'm going to be fully out of commission for all of July, that means. So I'm just trying to get basically 2 months worth of videos pre-filmed. I have had lots of conversations with Mallory, my good friend, and my parents and my boyfriend about this, and I need to chill. I'm just very bad about accepting that sometimes I physically can't upload or can't film because I haven't missed an upload in a long time. I think it's been 4 years or something. I've stuck to my Monday, Wednesday, Friday every single time. And in a sense, I'm proud of that, but I'm why do I do this to myself? I just can't miss an upload. It makes me more stressed even if I'm can't make one video, have to somehow make it happen in my mind, which is very unhealthy, because there's been lots of times where I definitely should not have pushed myself, and I do. I know that, and it's something that I am trying to be better about, is just being okay if there's a period of time where I can't upload because there is a worldwide pandemic and I'm having surgery during the middle of it. So if there was ever a time to take off videos, I guess this is it. I have no idea if I'm going to have to take off or what's going to happen. If I do, you guys will know about it, but I am going to try my best to pre-film as much as possible, and hopefully you guys won't even know I'm gone. I'm trying not to stress about it, but I am definitely quite stressed right now. And then going hand in hand with that, there were questions about 15 Days of Foundation. So this is basically a repeat of one of my last update videos where we had to push everything back because of surgery, which now that same surgery got pushed back. So that's pushing everything else back, on top of the fact that COVID-19, and that's impacting so many different aspects of Beauty Wishes and 15 Days of Foundation. Beauty Wishes is the charity campaign that goes along with 15 Days of Foundation. So the brands involved, shelters, like all of that has basically had to be put on hold. So as of right now, we're having to postpone Beauty Wishes and 15 Days of Foundation to spring, this coming spring, so 2021. I've had my moments where I'm like, I just feel so bad that it's had to be pushed back twice now, but at the end of the day, it's whatever, you know, whatever is physically possible, and that just is physically not possible. With that being said, we're gonna do this like mini charity campaign for Project Beauty Share fundraiser in June. So more details to come on that in another video, but I did still want to support them right now. So it's something that you guys will be excited about. More to come on that in June. What other career goals do you have besides YouTube, brand work, Instagram, etc., if any? I have lots of career goals outside of YouTube. I eventually want to own multiple properties and be able to live off of the rental income, and also flipping houses. I definitely want to learn how to flip a house. I see myself doing that probably within the next 3 years, again, depending on where I'm living and what the situation is, but I think it'd be super fun to flip a house or just even remodel my first house, like learn how to do it and learn the process. How did your boyfriend feel about you being a YouTuber? Did he watch your videos before you met? Last night, I kind of went down this hole of like watching some of my older videos, and I was watching the Shadow and Schmooze where it was right when we first met and he was like the Tinder guy, and it was just, it's so weird to look back on that because that was a couple years ago now. But so something I was really adamant on at the very beginning is that out of respect and just learning about each other, I asked him not to watch my videos and not to go to my channel or anything, because it's like an unfair thing when I know nothing about you, but you're able to kind of get these like preconceived judgments of me based on YouTube. And he fully understood that and respected that, and to this day he doesn't watch my videos unless I like, you know, show him one or send him one or whatever, which I never sent him my videos, but like, so he has seen like some of my videos, but he doesn't still to this day watch my videos. I wouldn't care now if he did. Like now he fully knows me, so I actually wouldn't mind at all if he like went back and watched my videos, because he knows who I am as a person now. But at the beginning, yeah, he didn't watch my videos, and I just really appreciated that about him, that he understood that and it wasn't that hard for him to just not do it and learn about me in real life. Do you still speak Arabic? Any tips for learning another language? So I still speak Arabic, but I've lost probably 80% of it because I haven't been using it. My Arabic teacher in Jordan used to always say, you lose it or you, use it or you lose it. There it is. I was nowhere near fluent, but I was definitely like, I could understand most of what was being said, not just to me, but like by listening to other conversations. Speaking was always more difficult for me, but I definitely have, like forgotten a lot of it. I do think if I was back there in an Arabic speaking country for probably like a month, I would probably pick it up again, hopefully. Sometimes I'll have dreams still in Arabic, which is very odd. It's so weird to think that like your brain is capable of still producing those words and forming sentences and stuff even while you are asleep. Like that's always wild to me. I mean, maybe something that isn't as obvious, like people always tell you to listen to the radio, watch TV, whatever, like those are kind of things you can Google, but something to me that I think is really important is actually having an understanding of the culture behind the language. Language and culture are really intertwined. So if you don't understand the culture, a lot of the language isn't going to make as much sense. That's something that you can study. You can study, you know, a particular culture, but it's really different when you're fully immersed in it for a long period of time. So I think that's super important. What will your first destination be when you can travel again after the coronavirus? South Korea. I have this obsession with Korea right now, and I've been watching so many videos on it, and also they're controlling things very well, I must say. South Korea is definitely on my list, and Ireland has been on my list for a while, but we want to like rent a car and do a whole like 2-week trip around Ireland when we go to Ireland, so that would be like a longer one. Will you be making more vlogs? They're my favorite. Love you. Love you too. Vlogs are some of my favorite videos to watch from other people. So I feel like if I'm enjoying watching something, it's always kind of more fun for me to make that kind of video. Anything goes, you know, you can talk about anything, you can show cooking, you can talk about a new stapler that you just bought, you can talk about your sprinklers, like whatever you're digging at the moment. And I just really like that. I like the freedom that vlogs give, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys seem to like watching my vlogs too. So if you've never seen one of my vlogs, just try. Even if you're not a vlog person, you might like it. Who knows? My vlogs are basically like a couple weeks of footage packed into like 15 to 30 minutes. It's not like it's an entire one day. It's kind of like a bunch of things that I think hopefully you guys will find interesting, all packed into one video. What's been keeping you going during this quarantine? Also, thank you for being a light for us. Thank you. Honestly, you guys, like, just working and having kind of like a purpose every day has been really helpful. I'm just taking it day by day, trying to focus on the positive things in your life every day. But also YouTube, like not just doing YouTube, but watching YouTube has been keeping me going. And also the weather. It's been so nice in Seattle, so just being able to be outside and enjoy the nice weather. Okay, we're gonna end on this question, which I think is kind of, I don't know, it's a good question. I've never heard this asked before. It says, how do you determine what makes a good friend? When I think about my friends, obviously I consider all of them good friends or they wouldn't be in my life. When I think about like the people I'm closest with and the friendships that I really, really value, it's people that don't judge, that listen and that you can listen to, like a reciprocal relationship in that way. And I think people that you know would drop anything for you and that you can count on and lean on, and that's what I try to be for people too in my life. That I think is where we're going to end this off, because I think this Q&A is going to be quite long. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to ask questions for the next Q&A, Instagram is the easiest place to just gather everything. So you can follow my Instagram. It's @TaylorWynn. I also have giveaways going on there. I haven't done one in a while because of everything going on, but I think I am going to do one. Maybe we'll launch it when this video goes up. There's a giveaway over on my Instagram, I guess. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And thank you to everyone for asked questions for that was not English. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.